Hi, this is Dr. Progeny. Today I'm going to talk about symbols and subtext in Progeny Clinical. I'm working on Progeny 10 and I'm logged into the PC client version using the administrator Progeny ID. So the first thing I'm going to do is just open up a pedigree, and if you're using version 8 or 9 you'll see it's fairly similar to this. So you'll also see the current format that we're looking at. So it's here the subtext is cancer pedigrees and the symbols is the same. I'm going to then click on this icon button up the top. Just going to left click on that and it's going to bring up this grey box here. You'll see there's 3 tabs: subtext, which is the text below the icon; symbols, which is the shading you can see here; and also markers as well. When you can see I've got a couple of snips showing here. We're going to focus to start with on the subtext. You can see here, for example, that I am showing the date of birth and date of death, and I'm showing forename and surname. You can see it's a little unusual. It's on row 13, 14, 15 and 16 and 15, sorry. So you can see here it works in row and effectively column. So here if you're looking at forename and surname, it's 15-0, so forename first, and then 15-1, surname second. Now if I want to add anything to the symbols or the subtext, I need to first click on fields, like so, and this will bring up all the fields in your database. We're primarily going to focus in on the individual data fields. So for example, here if we're looking at basic data, if I also wanted to show the patient ID in the subtext, I can do so. I can click apply. In this case there aren't any patient IDs, but if there were it would show, and I can also save that format as well. I'll save it as the same, so it's cancer pedigrees, and overwrite. Okay, so that's that. Now if I'm going on to symbols, you can see at the moment I've got the cancer history field here. This is from the cancer table. So if you're using tables, be aware you can actually drop in the same field multiple times for different cancers. So let's show that. So let's go down to the clinical folder. There's the cancer history table itself. I'm just going to drag, I'm left clicking, keeping it held down until I get a little plus sign in this grey area, and that's then going to come up with a box. Which table field do I want to show? In this case I'm just going to use the obvious one, which is the cancer diagnosis. So then I can select an icon. I'm going to select this big blue box and I'm going to select that for, say, bladder cancer. You'll also see in Progeny 9 and 10 you have this additional column here. That's to simplify the symbols legend. So if I click there, if I click apply, and I'll save that like I did before, like so, and like so. So that's now successfully changed those 2 formats. So now if I come into an individual, say I choose this gentleman here, and I'm going to switch the format so it's on cancer pedigrees. So patient ID, I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cancer history, he has no diagnoses. So in the client version I simply right click, add a row, and I'm going to change that to bladder cancer, like so, and then just save that data. Go back to the pedigree, you'll see instantly, I smart draw this so it's a little bit prettier, it has put in the icon for bladder cancer. It's also put in the patient ID from the subtext that we changed, and now you can see quite rapidly it's quite logical, it's doing what it should be doing. So that's literally what you have to do to change the subtext and the symbols, just so you can see something a little bit more obvious. If we can find the affected field, we can also, this is just a flat field, just drag and drop that here. So it's left click, keep the button held down, and then drag and drop it. So we'll just choose another icon for affected. I'm going to choose a one here. Again, yes, and in this case I'm just going to write in affected, click apply, and save that. And there is no limit, you can have huge long lists here. Again, I'm just going to jump into an individual. See if that affected field is showing. It's not set up as a cancer pedigree as standard. Yep, there's that affected field, I believe. So I'm going to click yes. Now you'll see it's yes here, so we have to be really careful. let's save that data. So we go back to the pedigree, you'll instantly see actually it's not showing, and the reason is I assumed this was a checkbox and not a drop down. So if I now change that to yes, click apply and save, and you'll still see it's not showing, which is not what I expected. So let's find out why that's not showing again. So let's just check we've got the right field. We right click here and go properties. It's not, I'm on the wrong field. That's clinical affected. Okay, so that shows you how careful you've got to be. This database is a duplicate field, so if you're looking at the wrong field, you're not going to get the right result. So here I go, drop this one in here. And this one's even completely different, it's now affected. So let's save that data, go back to the pedigree, and it actually expects it to be affected. Okay, a little bit long, a little bit long-winded, but it kind of does indicate how careful you have to be, because Progeny is a true clinical data management system. The icons, the subtext that you're showing on the pedigree reflect what's in your database. Okay, that's all for today. If you've got any questions, do feel free to drop me a line.